Listen.
Welcome to the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Welcome to Battle Bus Live. I am Brian Rose, and we are live on the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Today, I'm touring the boroughs of Camden, Islington, and Hackney, and I'm going to be talking about all sorts of super important things. We got big press happening today. The Times did a two-page spread on me. Pictures of me and the missus were in there. We've got our own paper, the London Real Courier, kicking off. I'm going to talk about polls and polling data and how it's all incorrect. I'm also going to go through my important policies on transportation and on housing. This is going to be a great interactive session. Again, I do it like no other candidate out there. I am here live with you, and I want your questions right now. Ask me hard questions on these digital platforms via Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, LinkedIn. We're everywhere. So type in right now and ask me a question, even if you've never done it before. Tell me what borough you're in, what city you're in. We got an international movement here that want me to be the next mayor of London, and I'm really excited to have you here today. So again, I'm going to be walking through what's happening. By the way, I heard some rumor that there's some other bus out there rolling the streets of London, but the truth is there's only one digital battle bus, and my bus is bigger than yours. We are rolling through the streets. We're going to run over anything in our way, and we're coming to every single borough in London. By the way, this isn't our first rodeo. I've been to every single borough in London twice, over 3,000 miles logged on this bus. Probably 20, 25 hours of live video projected out to you. I am here with you in your borough. I'm on the streets having difficult conversations. I'm listening to Londoners, and I'm out there solving your problems. The current mayor of London has been told by his own party he cannot go out in public or he would quote unquote jeopardize the election. Can you imagine? The mayor of London who's going for re-election can't even go out on the streets because he'll be heckled. I've been out on the streets talking to people, listening to your concerns. This is a new way of doing politics and leadership, and it's so important on May 6th who you choose to be your next leader. And look, I get it if politics aren't your thing. I was interviewed by this reporter from the Times last Thursday, and he said, Brian, how did you vote in the last general election in 2019? I couldn't actually remember. He thought I was evading the question. I said, actually, I don't remember. I actually didn't vote because politics hadn't engaged me. Maybe you're like that too. But the last year, the decisions we've seen made in this city that have crushed our economy, ruined our transport system, failed to build housing, and increasingly sees knife crime on our streets every other day, now it will probably make you wake up and say, wait a second, this decision on May 6th is crucial. If you want your livelihood back, if you want your job back, if you want to feel safe on the streets, if you want affordable housing, or if you just simply want your transport network not to go bankrupt, you owe it to yourself to make the right decision on May 6th, and that's for Brian Rose as your next mayor. Again, new ideas, an independent voice, and fresh ideas. We need to get rid of the old duopoly two-party system. It's making a mess of things, and I want to talk about that today. So again, let's be honest, what's happening here? We have 5 weeks left until we're going to elect a new mayor. It is 5 weeks from tomorrow. That's 36 days, and it's happening. We are currently in second place, moving into first place contender for the next mayor of London. We are winning this. Let's be honest. We are winning this, and everyone in the streets knows it. We are putting our message out there. Here's a few things that a lot of Londoners have seen over the past week or so. First is this beautiful image here, and this is me standing outside one of our massive digital out of home. Again, this is the biggest outdoor digital campaign in British political history. And a lot of people have come up to me and said, Brian, I've seen your face here, I've seen your face there. And I just want to apologize for everybody who is just sick and tired of seeing my face. I know we're out there, but I really think this mission is so important. And again, another thing that the guy at the Times said, he said, what are you doing, Brian? You know, why spend all this money and put your face out there? And I said, because this is important. This is my city. This is where my children are grow up. And I can't sit around and watch it be run into the ground by this current crop of politicians that don't even care about you. They don't care about Londoners. They don't care about our future. Enough is enough. So we've gone big. You've seen our stuff's out there, but we have stuff to back it up. You know, we don't just talk the talk. We walk the walk. I have detailed policies to change this city. My policies are 10 times better than the current mayor, who's at the top floor in his glass building much better than the Conservative candidate, who quite honestly is a joke. And the other candidates, well, they know they have no chance as well, but my policies are 10 times better than them. And again, I'll be dropping my manifesto in the next few days, and you can see my detailed policies to solve London's problems. Look at the work we've done here. We've spent 6 months, and we've come up with better solutions than some of these parties that have had 100 years. That might want to ask yourself a question. Something weird is going on here, and I'll talk about that shortly. Here's a quick video of some of our beautiful outdoor ads. Check these out. They're incredible, but this is what they look like if you've never seen them before. Booyah, there it looks. Pretty amazing stuff. And how good is that music, right? Come on, it really gets you excited about what we're doing. And again, we just want to be out there to let Londoners know they have another choice besides this two-party system, which is why also we're back out here on this beautiful battle bus. It's a new wrap, it's a new look, and we'll be out here all the way up till May 6th. This is what it looks like if you haven't seen it yet. Again, if you see our bus out on the road, take a picture, hashtag Brian for Mayor. Put it up on social. We're giving away prizes. We're giving away swag. And again, you can see a picture of it right now. It's a beautiful looking bus. You'll see it out there, and it's absolutely amazing. Also, on top of this bus, which again is going to be going through every single borough in London, there's a lot happening out there with all volunteers. Now, a lot of you have already sent me messages saying, man, Brian, your volunteers are so passionate about you. I see them everywhere. They're handing out leaflets. They're talking about your policies. How do you do that? The truth is that they found us. They came and volunteered. They went to our website, brianformayor.london/volunteer. We got volunteers that are coming out with us on the road, that are helping us at world headquarters, that are out there in the streets because they love our energy and they can tell that it comes from the heart. It comes from a place of goodness. We want to do what's right for this city, and all of my volunteers are with me on the same way. Join us. It's a great way to spend time with amazing people, high performance people, doing something that's never been done in British political history. We're going to win on May 6th. Be part of this big win. Come check it out. Here's a short video of a couple of my volunteers. They recorded in the field about a week or two ago.
Hello everybody in the Brian for Mayor volunteers group and all my people on Facebook and Instagram. We are currently campaigning, going around to see where we can make a difference and help London to become a better city and make change for the better for the community. Anything you'd like to say? That's the flyer that he got in the mail today. I'm still waiting for my flyers to arrive in the mail. And we love our British people to know that we are here to make a difference and to make London great again.
That's vote for Brian.
And get London back to work. Yes, Brian Rose. Yes.
Brian Rose.
Brian Rose. Well, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates between now and the 6th of May. Toodaloo.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Great stuff. Love watching those videos. We have the best volunteers in the world. They're out there behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, handing out leaflets, making phone calls. And of course, they're all coming to the big Brian for Mayor inauguration party, kicking off Friday, May 7th. We've got musical artists that are coming in. It's going to be a huge, amazing celebration. So be part of that. Again, come to brianformayor.london/volunteer and be a part of it. All right, some massive news I want to drop on you today. This is an absolute game changer. I've been getting direct messages from people all over the world, former London Real guests, footballers, major people out there in the press that have said, congratulations, Brian, on the announcement of the London Real Party. We have our own political party. It's called the London Real Party. Here's a quick look at our logo here popping up here. And you can see this. We are super proud of the work being done behind the scenes, but there's more than just a party. We are fielding 4 members right now in the GLA. That's the Greater London Authority, the assembly that holds the mayor accountable. 4 of our London Party members are running for office as well, because we know that local government is where everything happens. And this just shows our long-term commitment to better governments in London. We are here for the long term. I'm thinking 10 or 20 years. That's why we fielded this party. And that's why it's not just me for mayor. I'm also running for assembly. And I've got 3 other members of my party also running for assembly seats. We're going to be out there and we're going to be pushing forward and trying to break through this 2-party stranglehold that we see out there that shuts out independent voices. They shut us out in the media. They shut us out with their incorrect polls. They shut us out by co-opting a lot of the mainstream media, and we want to break through that, and that's why the London Real Party exists. Again, we're very excited about that. Please register to become a member of the London Real Party, and again, go back to brianformayor.london for more information about all of that, the party, etc., and there'll be a URL you can click on below for more information there. We are super excited because when we look around, we're embarrassed at what happened. The current mayor of London, on a good day, he aspires to being adequate, and again, the Tory candidate has actually been thrown to the wolves by his own party. They don't even back him. Besides that, there's no one else that is credible out there except for us. And guess what? We also have the best policies in the business. We have the best form of communication. People come up to me and say, Brian, we know your heart's in the right place. This is a no-brainer to back the London Real Party and to back me for mayor of London and to back all of our members for the assembly. We're super excited to announce this and just really, really pumped to have our own party. So again, no longer an independent candidate, but we'll always be independent. But now we have our own party, the London Real Party. Let's talk about newspapers because we're all over the newspapers. First, I want to talk about our newspaper. This is the London Real Courier, our own broadsheet, and this has been dropped into 250,000 homes around London. You'll see our volunteers are going to be passing this out. And just here's a quick behind the scenes of the printing of this incredible piece of work. There it is, boom. My wife read this cover to cover. My son, Camden, he even tried to read the whole thing. He's 4 years old, so what's your excuse? Pick up your copy. Absolutely incredible stuff. Also, you can order stickers for Brian for Mayor that may or may not be posted out there in places in London. Go to brianformayor.london/stickers. We'll send them to you. And if you want a t-shirt, if you want a mug, if you want a pen, if you want a book, again, go to brianformayor.london/donate. If you can donate £5 or 500, we really appreciate it. It will help us break through the 2-party stranglehold that they have out there that crushes independent voices and the little guy. We don't think that's acceptable. We believe in democracy, so come support us. Also, you can register for your postal vote. Lock in your vote right now for the London Real Party. Go to brianformayor.london/postal. We'll literally send you out your postal vote. Just sign it, put your date of birth in there. We'll even give you an envelope that you can then mail it to your borough, or we can email you that form as well. So super excited about that, and that's what's happening. Look, I want to get into this incredible piece that happened today in the Times. It's been blowing up on our social media, but before we do, I want to hear from you. So first of all, tell me the answers to this question. No matter what platform you're on, tell me what borough do you live in, or what city do you live in? What's the biggest challenge you face? Because that's my job as mayor, to solve your challenges. What's the question you'd like to ask me? Second, are you excited for the London Real Party, and who do you plan to vote for on May 6th? Please leave it in the chat right now. That's what I want to hear. Third, do you think the polls are correct? Do you believe the polls, or do you think they're part of this 2-party stranglehold designed to shut out new ideas and the independent voice? And then, do you agree with my policies when it comes to rethinking LTNs, making the TfL profitable, and abolishing the congestion charge until 2022? Finally, do you think it's time for new leadership, new vision, and taking London in a brand new direction? So again, I want to get to this article. There's some really good stuff in here. But before we do that, I want to play for you a video that's going to talk a little bit about some of my ideas when it comes to transportation today, because we've got firm ideas. And right now, I am literally going to Islington to go visit some of these LTNs. These are low traffic neighborhoods that have basically been just kind of grandfathered in by the mayor into these neighborhoods. He drops these potted bollards in the middle of people's streets and says, guess what? I've got this grand new plan to be green, which means you can't drive where you want to go. Ambulances are blocked off. Businesses go out of business, emissions actually go up, journey times get extended. People are very angry, and when people actually go to ask him about these things, as we saw a few weeks ago, the mayor had to hide in a coffee shop for an hour until his security got there, and then he literally ran away from people just trying to ask simple questions like, Mr. Mayor, why are you doing this to our neighborhoods? And to learn more about the tragedy happening right now in London with these low traffic neighborhoods, here's a video that I prepared. This is one of our awareness videos that talks about the real struggle when it comes to low traffic neighborhoods. Here it is. Sadiq Khan lied to us. He promised us better air quality in our neighborhoods. He promised us less traffic. He promised to give our streets back to the people. He promised to improve our environment. Instead, his low traffic neighborhood scheme is ruining our city. Sadiq Khan lied to us.
But so-called low-traffic neighbourhoods, which involve bollards and planters blocking off roads, have led to protests and petitions. With 200 of them now underway across London, some say they are causing more congestion.
Sadiq Khan lied to us. His low-traffic neighborhoods prevent people from visiting their families and caring for their loved ones. He stops people from attending work and keeping important medical appointments. He is bankrupting businesses and ruining local economies because of the lack of footfall. He prohibits our emergency services from saving lives and prevents disabled people from access to their homes.
Absolutely. Everyone's done this. The main mayor, right, and the government funded that scheme. They paid the money to Ealing Council to implement it. They did. There was many people that feel the same as me. We had an ambulance whilst this scheme was up, and a man had a heart attack inside. It's all over the news, okay? And they couldn't reach him in time because the ambulance didn't have the key in time. This isn't a local council thing. It's government and it's mayoral. You're right. That's where it sits. Those fundings comes out to these places to put these schemes in place, and we don't look absolutely correct. You're correct, right? And
LTNs actually cause more traffic problems, increasing emissions by up to 300%, as the mayor generates millions of pounds of income from fines given to residents in Ealing, Lambeth, Hackney, Islington, Enfield, and more. Sadiq Khan lied to us. The current mayor is using his low-traffic neighborhood scheme to extract money from hardworking citizens to save his bankrupt transportation system.
You are passing the buck, as you always do, to central government. Do you personally, though, accept any responsibility, or is it all everybody else's fault?
His LTN fines punish lower-income families, charging an outrageous £130 per offence during this challenging recession.
I'm almost trying to hold my temper. Yeah. That's how I feel. Okay. So angry. Okay. So absolutely angry. Okay. What's going on? There's local businesses inside that LTN that cannot operate. They're shutting down. There's a car mechanics that's not getting passenger. There's pharmacy which serviced the local area that I could walk to. Shutting. Okay. So what they do is they stick these barriers. If anybody makes a mistake, it's 200 quid.
And with journey times increasing by 77%, it is obvious that LTNs are failing the communities they are supposed to serve. The High Court recently ruled that Sadiq Khan took advantage of the pandemic to push through these radical changes with no consultation with the residents. Sadiq Khan lied to us. Londoners deserve better. We deserve a mayor who cares about our residents, business owners, disabled, and emergency services. We deserve a mayor who doesn't tax our citizens to repay debts from his own financial failures. We deserve a mayor who doesn't break the law, but instead consults with local residents and stakeholders about important policy changes. To do this, we need real leadership. We need someone who can run our transportation system like a business. We need someone who is financially responsible and who can hold people accountable. My name is Brian Rose, and I plan to put transportation first. As your next mayor, I will make London a world-class city once again. And I hope you enjoyed that video. It's a very serious look at a very serious problem here in London. And it's really endemic of a bigger problem, which is a mayor who's out of touch with the citizens, who doesn't really care about the struggles he puts on people and the millions of fines that he's levied to pay for his bankrupt transportation system. And we have to rethink LTNs. And that's the reason I'm out here in the field today, to visit LTNs in Islington. If you're out in Islington, please come see me. I'll be stopping by in about 30 minutes, and I want to hear what your challenges are, because I'm going to rethink these and rethink the entire transport system when I become your next mayor on May 6th. So first of all, I want to thank the boroughs that we're traveling in today. That's Camden, Islington, and Hackney. If you don't know London so well, or if you want a refresher, Camden is of course home to the British Museum. What a fabulous place. Regent's Park, I spent so much time there. Kenwood House, which is right there in Hampstead Heath. I'm there pretty much every Saturday. Camden Markets, the old horse stables, an incredible place. My sons love going there. The Roundhouse Theater, where I saw the Beastie Boys live before they finally called it quits. And of course, it's where I live as well, in the borough of Camden. So it's great to be back here. I've always loved this borough. Next, Islington, where we're going to be coming through and looking at what you struggle with in these LTNs. Of course, it's the home of Emirates Stadium and Highgate Cemetery, which of course I've walked by quite a few times. Home of Douglas Adams, who's the author of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I used to read that when I was a kid, 10 or 12 years old. What a great piece of science fiction. And of course, Karl Marx is buried there as well. So that's Islington. And of course, Hackney is the home of the Brian for Mayor World Headquarters. It's the home of Silicon Roundabout, the center of tech in London. Also the home of the London Fields Lido, where I trained for my Ironman race. I run the canals every single week in Hackney. And of course, it's the home to Wally Foster Community Center, where I spoke last year in the run-up to my Brian for Mayor campaign. So very excited to be here today and meet with all of you. Please come out and see me. If you see the bus, honk, take a picture, hashtag Brian for Mayor, put it on social. I want to send you some swag and just say thank you. All right, let's talk about the big news article of the day, because it is a news article. We're going to stick it up on the screen now, but it comes out of the Times today, and it's going up on the screen right now. And it's a 2-page spread, and it says literally this: who on earth does Brian Rose think he is? What an amazing headline. By the way, this is the Times, one of the great publications in Britain and one of the great publications in the world. And we're super proud to be a part of this. A lot of you saw me teasing out a photo shoot I did last Thursday with my amazing and beautiful wife, Mariana. And we were taking photos. We did a 2-hour photo shoot. I kid you not. They must have taken 800 pictures of the two of us, one of us, both of us on the roof in the London Real Studios, etc. And then I sat down for a 1 hour and 7-minute incredible interview and decided to just do what I always do, which is tell the absolute truth and be completely real and completely transparent with everyone. And if you read some of the headlines of the article, you can tell that my show is called London Real, because I get real right away. I think I almost surprised the interviewer because he probably wasn't used to people being so honest with him. And just want to give a big shout out to Damian Whitworth, who did an amazing job. And again, the headline that I'm reading now, and you can go to the Times website as well, it says, Brian Rose, the American who wants to be London mayor. The boxing, breakdancing, former Wall Street banker is buff, but is he really fit to be the next mayor of London? What a great headline. And I'd love to hear your answer. Please answer that question right now in the chat here as well. And then it goes to show a very serious picture of me. And underneath that picture, it says, Brian Rose, quote, I overdosed from heroin and I stopped breathing. And this is a part of my story that I've told actually many times on London Real, but for the greater public, they might not know of my struggles with addiction like many of us have, and my real honesty when it comes to that. I made a whole movie about this called Iron Mind that's been watched a couple million times for free on YouTube. And I told the world about it back in 2018, and I was happy to tell Damian about it. It's part of my journey. It's part of what we struggle with as human beings. And I think the more I can talk about my failures, and trust me, I've got a lot of things I've failed at, the more it will help our youth, our younger generations, and all the people of London. So I highly encourage you to read this article, and it really goes deep into a lot of my really important policies. And he talks about my plans, and it's really important to see what they actually write about. They talk about my plans to put 10,000 new police officers on the street, to better train the Met Police and to fully digitize the police. He talks about my $100 million plan, corporates for communities, to get companies like Amazon and Uber and Barclays and HSBC to give money directly to the communities, £100 million per year for 250 community centers. He talks about my plans to build 50,000 new homes by Christmas of this year through modular housing on TfL land. They talk specifically about how TfL is sitting on 5,700 acres of land. That's the size of the borough I'm in right now, Camden, that we can go ahead and develop and make it useful to make TfL profitable. And he talks about my other plans as well to rethink LTNs, abolish the congestion charge. And the big one they talk about is the Great Celebration, my 31-day festival in August, street fairs during the day, music fairs every single night to show off the best of British and London food, technology, innovation, commerce, music, art, culture, and more. 20 million people coming to London. I've been telling my taxi drivers about this on the way in and the way home. They love this idea, and it was featured amazingly in the Times. So again, go to our social media feeds for the links, or go to the Times, I think it's .co.uk, buy a copy of the paper, take a picture of it, hashtag the real Brian Rose or Brian for Mayor, and I'd love to see it. But again, it's just an amazing thing. It's got a daily circulation of almost 420,000 people that are reading this, and it's just great to see us getting real coverage. And I think it's because our message is cutting through. And again, I'm being really honest. And, you know, maybe it's the suits or the outdoor ads that get your attention at first. But the truth is I have real depth to my story. I've had real failures in my life, real struggles in my life, and I have real depth to my policies. Again, I've got the best policies in the business. I've got better policies than the current mayor, who's had 5 years to work on his policies. I've got much better policies than the conservative candidate, who doesn't really have any depth to his policies. He's got a couple headline numbers, but he couldn't tell you how to implement, and neither one of them has any experience in business. As a matter of fact, when they both potentially lose their jobs on May 6th, I don't think they're going to be able to get a job outside of politics, which shows something fundamentally wrong with this system. So again, great press today. There's going to be a lot more of this coming, and we expect to win this race on May 6th. If you're with me every day out on the streets, if you're with me on all of the incredible comments we get digitally, you know we're going to win this race. And that's why I want to go into my first point here, which is the polling system. And it's something that Damien asked me when I sat down for this article. It was a fascinating conversation. Like I said, it was an hour and 7 minutes long. We did it outside, of course. We did it socially distanced. My wife was there as well. And he said, but Brian, the polls say that Khan's going to win. And I said, the polls are wrong. And he said, what are you talking about, Brian? The polls aren't wrong. And I said, well, let's look at the polls. How well have they done? In 2016, they predicted that Hillary Clinton would become president, and they were massively wrong. In 2019, they predicted a very close race between Labor and Conservative, completely wrong. Conservative blew Labor out of the water. And even in 2020, they made the wrong prediction again in the American presidential election. The polls are consistently wrong. And the truth is, when you learn about polls, and I've actually commissioned polls in this country, it's an antiquated system that basically calls people on their landlines at home at night. And I don't know about you, but I haven't had a landline in about 10 years. And I sure don't pick up phone calls from people I don't know. So first of all, it probably takes out 99% of the population. Then you have to talk to them for 15 minutes. I don't know many people that have the time to do that either. And I think they end up calling the same people over and over again, so you don't really get a fresh cross-section of what's happening on the streets of London. When I go to the store, when I go to Sainsbury's this morning to get this copy, every single employee at Sainsbury knew who I was. When I walk down the streets, everyone says, you're the mayor. This kid rode by on his bicycle and says, you're the mayor, innit? That's what he said this morning. He's like 11 years old. Everyone's saying, Brian, we support you. Taxi drivers stopping on the road, bus drivers honking their horns. The people, the real people of London on the streets are behind us 100%. The polls should say 58%. Brian is going to win. And so that's what I'm saying about these polls. It's part of this two-party stranglehold on the narrative out there. And it dominates the media. Even our regulators, Ofcom, say that radio and television aren't allowed to have independent parties on because I didn't get poll ranking in the last election. Welcome to the digital era. It's time they start giving us bandwidth, and don't believe this narrative, because the narrative feeds in on itself. We need to break the cycle of misinformation and tell all of your friends and family the polls are wrong. If you look at our real life interactions, they're rich and they're varied. We've had 1.5 billion impressions on all of our awareness ads, on all of our media posts. And we know by being on the ground that we're about to break through what's happening here with this two-party system, and we are going to win this election on May 6th. And I'm very, very excited to do so. I'm looking through, I think we're going to Camden right now. It's amazing. So I want to get your answers to my questions right now. Please type in the chat and tell me, first of all, what borough do you live in? What's the biggest challenge you face? And what question would you like to ask me when you see me? Or what city do you live in? Next, are you excited for the London Real Party? And who will you be voting for on May 6th? That's someone honking for us out there. Do you believe the polls are correct, or do you think they're a part of the two-party stranglehold on government? And do you think it's time that we have new ideas and an independent voice? Next, do you agree with my policies to rethink LTNs, make TfL profitable, and abolish the congestion charge until 2022? And finally, do we need new leadership, new ideas, and do we need to take London in a new direction? I'm going to your questions right now. Tons of these coming through on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. I really appreciate this. Again, type in a comment right now and answer one of these questions for me. I'm going to read them out live for you. I've got Donna in Enfield. She sent me a question via the website and says, Brian, will you be looking at doing anything to help the younger generation get more apprenticeship opportunities, as my son's been looking for over a year in the construction sector, but there are hardly any opportunities, unquote. Thank you, Donna. We appreciate you in Enfield. We know you've been struggling with these LTNs as well. The mayor literally ran away from people in Enfield yesterday, and he had to hide in a coffee shop because he wouldn't answer your questions on LTN. So I apologize for his behavior. But let's talk about your son. One of my big pushes is my Corporates for Communities plans. Now, part of the reason is because there's crime in the streets and our children need to do something from those hours of 3:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. when mom and dad get home and when school is left out. That 5-hour window is when they can do something productive or something destructive. And my Corporate for Community plan is give £100 million every single year to 250 community centers that can give that mentorship and guidance to those young individuals. So for your son, this is perfect. They can mentor your son in a wide variety of potential trades, digital learning, health and well-being. There's so many things we can do to educate our children. And again, this is real money coming from corporate, so you don't get some line for the mayor that we ran out of budget. What's amusing to me is this. The mayor now is all of a sudden, right next to election, come up with all of these pieces of budget that he's pushing forward. 32 million for businesses, 6 million for our community centers. And yet 4 or 5 months ago, he cut 110 million pounds from the Met Police, while his own knife crime rate is going up and up and up. And so the mayor plays a lot of funny games with his budget. It's there for his own PR, but it's not there to protect the citizens. That's why I'm cutting out the government from this plan. And it's going to go directly from the Googles, the Amazons, and the Ubers right into your local community center. We're going to have a way of monitoring this to make sure that it's run like a business. But this is going to help your son, Donna, and I really appreciate you asking. It's also going to put a massive dent on the crime figures we see on the streets, and I'm super excited to talk about this going forward. A bunch of comments coming in here. Again, tell me them as well. I really appreciate that. We got some great comments. Larangina on Instagram says, what's your take on the congestion charge? I'm going to abolish it until 2022. That's it. No more congestion charge. And people say, why? Because I want to get as many people in London as possible to kickstart this economy. We are hanging on a thread right now. If we don't actively promote London as an economic powerhouse, we are going to continue being one of the worst performing cities in Europe. I don't want that. I want to get as many people in here as possible. In 2022, we're going to rethink it. I want to reduce the number of cars that come into this city, but I don't want to sacrifice our economy this year. Then I want to start taking green initiatives and take things forward. I got Marilyn on Instagram saying, hi, Brian, what are you going to do about the youth crime in London? So in addition to the community centers, I'm also going to put 10,000 new police officers on the street. And I know how to pay for that. It's going to cost me £300 million per year. I'm going to pay with that for something called the infrastructure levy, which I'll talk about in our transportation policies. I'm also going to better train the police and digitize the police. Again, I'm having regular conversations with senior members of the Metropolitan Police that love my policies, that support me in the background, and they know these are great ideas, and they know that I'm the person who can make it happen. A lot of people talk about new officers, but no one has fully costed this plan like I have, with detailed numbers that I'm dropping soon on my manifesto. So great question, and thank you for asking. I've got Deanna Deco on Instagram saying, from Wandsworth Borough, currently living in Stockholm. Brian, we are so excited for you becoming our next mayor. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I got Christina Valentina on Instagram saying, I can't wait for Brian to win. You're the best man for the job. Thank you so much. I appreciate. I got Reapso London on Instagram says, Get at them, Brian. Oppressive policies are destroying London parking and traffic costs. Policing is at its worst. Get at them, Mayor. And I will. These are really my plans, and I'm going to do this. I got Michelle Rene's on Instagram saying, congratulations, you are the obvious best choice. The Ancient Baby on Instagram saying, make history, Brian. All the best. Johnny Diamond on YouTube says, hands down, Brian is the only choice for London. Guy is amazing. Best of luck, brother. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate you. And again, this might seem strange to hear. This is what I hear every single day in the streets. Everybody stopping, coming up to me. Brian, you got this. We see you. We appreciate you. I saw your policies. You know, you're more than just the suit. There's a lot behind there, and it's all happening there as well. My microphone's playing some funny games with me here. I'm bringing this up here. I've got Rocco DeJames here on Facebook that says, Khan can wrap Bailey around his finger, but he's running scared of Brian. Debate Brian, what a coward. And Rocco's talking about this quote-unquote debate the BBC held a couple weeks ago. It was really a farce. It was a dog and pony show where they rolled out, I guess, the two best politicians in London. And they had a bickering session for about 30 minutes where they kind of screamed at each other for 30 minutes, the same way they do every month in the London Assembly. Nothing happened. They both looked, well, actually, Sean Bailey looked incompetent, and Sadiq Khan looked aloof and smug and above everything as usual. He obviously doesn't care about this city. What he's saying is, when is it time to have a real debate? I've been challenging Sadiq Khan to a debate for the past 2 months, and he is ducking me. He has run from the opportunity. He is currently hiding from me on the top floor of City Hall. I've told you, Sadiq, we can do it anytime, anywhere. We can come on the bus if you want. Send me a Zoom link. We can do it now. We can do it at the BBC, wherever you want. But let's put the ideas out there and tell me if I'm wrong about your atrocious record on knife crime. Tell me if I'm wrong that you've built only 12,000 homes in 5 years. Tell me if I'm wrong how you've bankrupted the TfL nearly twice and how you have no plans to rebuild London's economy. If I'm wrong, let's have a debate and let's let the people decide. So I'm waiting for that phone call, Mr. Khan. I'm waiting for the phone call, BBC. But we are now officially a candidate, as you've seen me posting yesterday. We have the London Real Party. So I expect an invitation to be debating, seeing how we are still second place, according to every major odd maker in the world, has had us second place and has had us in second place for 4 months. I think we should get an invite to the debate. Leave me your comments and tell me if you think that's correct as well. A couple more comments coming in here. Cynthia says, you're amazing. Keep up the good work. I got Belai Safari on Instagram saying, Brian Rose, you got my vote. I got Cosmonalgia on Instagram saying, I like him. Compare what we have. I don't hear Mr. Khan speaking about how Londoners feel. He's good, he's strong, he's full of energy, and the plan he has, it's good, it's fresh. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And honestly, I think, Mike continues to play around me here, I think that the mayor of London should be charismatic. The mayor of London should be working 24/7 for this city. The mayor of London should be out there creating videos that talk about we have the best city in the world, talk about the great celebration. The mayor of London should be its biggest advocate, its most prolific fan, and should be out there trying to get as many people to this city, as much business to this city, as much exposure to this city. That's what I can do. Whereas the current mayor, he runs and hides when there's an opportunity to engage with people out there. And so that's what's going on here. All right, still having some mic challenges here. We're gonna work on this a little bit more. All right, a couple more final questions here. Someone says, where can you get a copy of the London Real Courier? If you go to brianformayor.london and go on the website and sign up for our email list, I'll send you a copy. Also, go out on the streets. You can find our volunteers as well. Come by and see me on the bus. It's all there. Or go to brianformayor.london/leaflets and you can order some and we'll send you there as well. I got Coach Nikolai on Instagram says, Brian, focus to win the Bulgarian community in London. You have connection with them through your wife. Good luck. We just did a major piece on Bulgarian TV, watched by, I think, a couple million people in Bulgaria over the weekend. And I sat there with my incredible wife and we spoke in English and in Bulgarian and talked about our plans for London. Again, I really appreciate the Bulgarian community here in London. I appreciate everyone here in London that comes from other countries or that was born in this country. We all together will make this city an incredible place, and I'm really excited to take it to the next level. All right, let me get to the second part of this broadcast. Again, leave me your questions below. I'm going to be talking to you a lot, but I want to talk about some of the things that I'm really going to cover here today. The first thing I really want to talk about is transport. Now, transport in this city has been an absolute nightmare, and you don't have to look far to see some of the headlines, but I'll stick one here up on the screens right now, and I'll read it out to you. Tube squeeze, Sadiq Khan demands another TfL government bailout months after £1.6 billion injection. Think about that. Billions of pounds of bailouts is what the mayor has asked for this entire past year. It's shocking. He is completely bankrupting our transportation system, and it's just being poorly run. So I want to talk about that today. And the last thing I want to talk about is Sadiq Khan. His housing policy is absolutely atrocious. And I want to just put up a headline here so you kind of know what we're going to when it comes to some of the housing issues. This is an article from Vice magazine, and it says it right there in black and white. How Sadiq Khan's housing policy is making London's housing crisis worse. So these are the two things I want to talk about. Let's just go back and talk about transport. First of all, let me talk about what I want to do different with transport. And look, if the mayor is listening, or if the Conservative candidate is listening, who seems to be a big fan of my policies because they seem to come out of his mouth after I say them, that's okay. As long as the best policies are happening from London, and if the mayor wants to take some notes here, that's okay as well. I want to run TfL like a business, not like a charity. If you look at cities like Hong Kong and Tokyo, they run their transportation networks at a profit. It's not such a shocking revolution, and we need to do that. I'm going to tell you how. We also need to completely rethink LTNs, which is why I'm out here today in the borough of Islington to go and talk to the people on the streets and really get a good look at how these LTNs are ruining the city. I also want to separate out the property that TfL owns. TfL is sitting on 5,700 acres of land. Imagine that. That's the size of the borough of Camden. We could develop that land into affordable homes, which I'll talk about next, into commercial property, into retail property, and use that as a revenue generator for TfL to run it at a profit. But we just need to have a business lens and separate that out into a separate development corporation, majority owned by the City of London, but goes ahead and develops property in a way that's commercially viable. Next, I want to introduce something called the infrastructure tax. Now, very quickly, let me break it down like this. TfL invests billions of pounds to extend lines and make tube lines better all the time. These new extended lines, these faster lines, create incredible commercial opportunities. Look at Tower Hamlets. Look at the Isle of Dogs, Canary Wharf. Because of the Jubilee Line extension, there has been billions and billions and tens of billions of pounds of value created by housing development, banking infrastructure, everything, just because of that extension of the Jubilee Line. So commercial property developers are making billions of pounds and the TfL goes bankrupt. Does that make sense to you? I think we should find a fair way where TfL can share in the profits that it generates by running incredible transport infrastructure. And it's called an infrastructure levy. And it's simply this. If you develop property within 500 meters to 1 kilometer away from a major tube stop, and that property goes up in value more so than London property. So again, if London property goes up 20% and so does yours, you pay nothing extra. But if you get a boost because of what the TfL did, then you kick back 2 to 5% of those increases. That's enough money to pay and make TfL profitable. That's enough money to fund our officers on the street, and it's an incredible concept. I've already costed this. I've looked into the detail, and it's a win-win situation for everyone. We've even tested the waters with commercial developers, and they're not enthused about it, but they understand it's part of the wave of the future. And again, this is my lens of looking at age-old problems. The problem is the two-party system would never innovate because they don't have to. They give you the illusion of choice every 4 to 5 years, and you choose Labour or Conservative or Labour, and nothing changes. If you look at the past 20 years, neither party has been able to build affordable homes. Neither party has been able not to rack up debt on the TfL system. Neither party has been able to solve the problems with crime. That's why you need an independent voice and new ideas, and that's why I'm here to challenge the status quo. And again, I'm going out here today to rethink these LTNs. They were not consulted with the neighbors. They were not consulted with local businesses. They were not even consulted with the proper authorities when it comes to emissions and traffic. We're going to rethink these things. We're going to abolish the congestion charge. We're going to separate out the property from TfL. We're going to create the infrastructure tax, and I'm going to run TfL at a profit and take those revenues and use it to build London, to make the streets safer, and I'm really excited to do that. And so I thought I would probably play a video here. We got the video from Adam in Ealing. Is that right? I think we do. And, oh, no, we don't. Okay, we're going to play that as part of something later. But I had a recent experience out in Ealing where I met with a gentleman named Adam. and he told me about his frustrations on the street with the LTNs, and I think I'm going to have similar conversations with people out here today. And again, while the current mayor has literally been told not to go out in public, I'm out there in the streets. I want to have difficult conversations with you. Tell me what you're struggling with. And look, I'm not mayor right now, but I want to hear your problems so I can serve you once I reach that office. So again, now I want to hear for you. Answer the following questions for me. First of all, tell me what borough do you live in? What city do you live in? What's your biggest challenge? What question do you want to ask me? Second of all, are you excited for the London Real Party? And who are you going to vote for on May 6th? Be honest. Tell me the truth. Third, do you think the polls are right, or do you think they're part of this two-party stranglehold on information, on choices that is designed to shut out the little guy and independent voices? Next, do you agree with my policies to rethink LTNs, make the TfL profitable, and also abolish the congestion charge until 2022? And lastly, do you think we need new leadership, new vision, and is it time to take London in a new direction? Again, I want to go to your questions and answers right now. I really appreciate everybody firing all these things into me. We got all sorts of good stuff. I'm going to start off with the website. We got Victoria Parker in Southwark that asked via the website, "Good morning, Brian. I hope you are keeping well ahead of your visit to Southwark. I hope you can help raise awareness to an existing problem that is only going to get worse." I'm all ears, Victoria. Again, I've never read this out before. I'm very curious. I'm not sure what Southwark Council's aim was by closing several of the residential roads between Peckham High Street and Commercial Way, but it is all done to create a bottleneck in an already congested area. Okay, Victoria, this makes sense. I've heard this narrative before. She goes on to say, "Ask the poor lollipop lady located outside the Duke of Sussex. Commercial Way is a main link for ambulances from the Old Kent Road, providing a vital service to the public through the larger area of Camberwell and Elephant and Castle, and I've witnessed many of them stuck with their lights and sirens going in a gridlock situation." I've seen that too. It's ridiculous. She goes on to say, "This is not exclusive to ambulance service, but all local emergency services. I am keen to hear your thoughts on the situation, as much as I'm sure you are concerned to hear thoughts of aforementioned members of the local community." End quote. That's Victoria Parker in Southwark. And look, I really appreciate your comment. It's absolutely amazing. And I just appreciate your feedback. And again, this is why I'm here. I'm here to find out what are your detailed problems. That's why I come out into every single borough of London. That's why I come out on the streets, because no other political candidate dares to come out and find out the details. And again, this is what the mayor failed to do before he put these into place. He decided that you weren't worth consulting with, that you didn't matter. Now you matter because he wants your vote. So you're going to hear all the latest press releases. He's always got a great picture standing next to somebody who probably doesn't want to be there. And he probably didn't really think about them a year ago. And it sounds like that's what happened with you here as well, Victoria. Again, I am not a fan of LTNs. They were never thought out. They were never consulted with the stakeholders, which means people like you, the residents, business owners, emergency services. I want to put a pause on all LTNs when I'm elected mayor May 6th. And I want to rethink them. And I don't believe you should use LTNs to create millions of pounds of fines, which is what he's doing, by the way. Southwark has already recorded over £1 million in fine. So is Enfield. So is Ealing, to pay for his bankrupt transportation system, because he can't think of the ideas that I've thought of as well. And so, Victoria, you're right. We've seen ambulances not be able to get to emergency calls. It's been absolutely shocking and dismaying that this has happened. And I really appreciate you bringing this up. And that's why I'm out here as well. A bunch of other questions coming in. I really appreciate that. I got more of us on YouTube that says, "Good luck, Brian. I'm on board with your campaign. I've spoken to friends to encourage support, especially with transport issues and the horrendous ULEZ plan." Again, the ULEZ is another tax increase that the mayor put on you. He increased and extended your congestion charge. He increased and extended the ULEZ zone. And again, this is a regressive tax that penalizes lower income people more than other people, the people he claims to care about, the people the Labour Party claims to care about, the workers, the low income families. He's punishing you, and he says it's not my fault. The current mayor never takes ownership. You need a leader who takes ownership, who knows how to lead, hold people accountable, and get things done. And that's what I've been doing for 30 years. Again, my track record speaks for itself. The Nation State on YouTube says LTNs are the worst thing ever done. Nobody likes it. I agree with you. I got T. Briggs on Instagram says, "Just hope Brian can handle the pressure." Hey, look what I've been doing for the past 6 months. I've been on the campaign trail. There's a lot of newbies showing up in the last week or two that want to run for mayor. I announced in October that I was running for mayor. Okay? That's almost 6 months we've been on the road here working for mayor. I've been doing London Real for 10 years. I've been in the business sector for 30 years. Trust me, I got this one. I got Free Market Libertarian Instagram says, Khan is too scared as he lied to us. Of course he lied to us. He lied to us about knife crime. Sadiq Khan lied to us about building houses. Sadiq Khan lied to us about bankrupting the transport network, and he lied to us about shutting down London's economy. The mayor lies all the time. We cannot trust him or our prime minister to tell the truth. We need an independent voice to take London in a new direction. I've got fresh ideas. Let me shake things up. I promise you things will change for the better. I promise you that. And I appreciate that comment. I've got Mark Payne on Instagram says, Brian, you rule, dude. Thank you, brother. What you're doing is awesome. Show the world that there is another way, and that's what we want to do. We want to show the world there's another way. Sandy Ocean on Instagram says, I admire your honesty, Brian. Anybody that's been watching London Real for the past 10 years know I'm honest about my failures, and I fail all the time. We put everything out there in an unscripted, unedited way. My conversations with over 1,000 guests on London Real are broadcast for free, and we don't edit things. We tell the whole story, you know, warts and all, tears and all. That way you can learn. And that's how I've learned some of my greatest lessons. So thank you. I got Lance Afonso on Instagram says, I live in Ealing Borough, and seriously, the gang culture is just sickening, especially in Southall, which is a Labour Party fortress. The youth have no jobs, housing is expensive, and which means crime skyrockets. And I appreciate that, Lance. We got real problems in Ealing and a lot of places. We got problems with knife crime. We got problems with the youth, no jobs, housing is expensive. This is why all of my policies are so important. I got Med Buckley, one of our volunteers at the Brian for Mayor headquarters. Thank you, Med. I appreciate you. And he says on Instagram, quote, I've never voted for a London mayor before. This is my first time, and he's voting Brian Rose for mayor. Thank you, Med. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon. Hopefully out there doing some leaflets with us later. I got AM1296 on YouTube that says, can an independent beat the two-party system, question mark? Yes, we can. We can with your support. We need everybody to come out on May 6th and vote for the London Real Party, vote for Brian Rose, and we've got this. A couple more questions before I go back to my final point. I got Barry Stott on Facebook that says, conquer the Conservative Party candidate and get yourself on mainstream media, ITV and Sky. Let's get your face, your message out there. Great point, Barry. We are making it. We're in the Times. We've been on major television. We're going to be in major publications. And the truth is, the Conservatives have failed. They have abandoned their candidate because he's got no ideas. He doesn't resonate with the public. Honestly, if you have voted Conservative before, look at my policies. If you have voted Labour before, look at my policies. My policies are for the best for all Londoners. I'm pro-business, but I'm pro-solution. We can run our TfL to profit. We can solve knife crime. We can build affordable houses, and we can kickstart London's economy with 20 million visitors in August. Imagine we could have our best year ever with my great celebration, 31 days of street festivals and music fairs. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I've got the best ideas out there. Let's break this two-party stranglehold, and I'm excited to do it. A couple more questions. I got Stars Parties on Instagram says, Brian, what can you do to stop the knife crime happening all over London with the young kids? Again, it's a two-part solution. 10,000 new officers on the street, better trained officers, fully digitized Met Police. £100 million into communities each year, 250 community centers, getting £400,000 each to give our youth better things to do, more productive things to do, entrepreneurship, trades, you name it, health and well-being. There's a lot of great things they could be doing. That's my two-pronged approach. It's gonna drop massively violent crime in this city. Just watch, we're gonna do it. Marie Claire Baird on Instagram says, are you on a bus? Yes, this is the digital battle bus. You're a little late to the party, but that's cool, Marie. It's great to have you here. I drive around in this thing every single day. I go speak to the people. I take in comments in a live stream way. I got the biggest bus on the road. I got the best bus on the road. And we're out there going through every single borough right up to May 6th because we plan on winning this race. I'm very serious about this. I take everything I do seriously, and I take the future of London very seriously. I've been a citizen since 2007. My children were born here, and I plan on being buried in this very city, maybe in Highgate Cemetery next to those other folks I mentioned. But I love this city, and I'm doing everything I can to take it to the next level. All right, last point I want to talk about, and that is housing. The mayor has continually failed us when it comes to housing. And again, I'll pop this headline back up here again from Vice Magazine, and I'll read it out to you. It says, how Sadiq Khan's housing policy is making London's housing crisis worse. When it comes to the mayor's record on housing, it's shocking. And I've done my research. When the mayor was elected back in 2016, he promised to build 80,000 new homes per year. Promised. You can go back and look it up. We're 5 years later. That's 4 years he was elected. And the last year, by the way, he's been unelected in office, which is probably illegal, but we'll give him that extra year. 5 years times 80,000, you owe us 400,000 homes, Mr. Mayor. Where are they? Where are they? When you go try to find them, he's completed a total of 12,000 new homes. 12,000 homes. That's 3% of what he promised. In my world, in the business world, if you produce 3% of what you promised, you get eliminated. And I think it's the time to do the same thing to Sadiq Khan. It's time to stop talking about building houses and to start building houses. We've heard the excuses. He's always got a great reason. It's always someone else's fault. The government gave him £4.8 billion in 2018 to build houses. Where are the houses? Where's the money? Again, no answers from the mayor. He runs and hides when he's confronted with these questions, and he refuses to debate me. What are you hiding, Sadiq Khan? What are you hiding is what I want to know. I have a plan to solve all this. I've been working with a top architect here in London. His name is Chris Wilkinson. Chris Wilkinson is amazing. He founded the firm Wilkinson Iyer. It's an incredible architectural firm that built the Crystal, that built the Emirates cable car that goes across the river. He built that for the London Olympics. He's built incredible projects all around the world. And I've been working with Chris behind the scenes for the past 2 months on building modular homes. Chris built modular homes for Sir James Dyson, yes, the Dyson of the vacuum cleaners, for his corporate campus. He built those for him a couple of years ago, and I contacted Chris over Christmas and I said, Chris, I love your modular homes. I said, why don't we build 50,000 homes by Christmas? We're going to do it on TfL land, and we're going to show London that we can build homes fast. And Chris got back to me and said, Brian, I love your energy. I love your ideas. I love London. I'm sick and tired of the politics. Let's do this. He gave me the resources of his architecture firm, and we've designed the houses, and we're ready to build them. We're ready to go. All you have to do is vote me in on May 6th, and we're going to build these homes. Here's a sneak peek at what they look like. We got more detailed drawings coming soon. These are beautiful homes. These are homes that can hold families, 3-person, 5-person, 6-person homes. They can be customized. They can be designed in factories and built literally in a matter of days and weeks on TfL land. This is incredible technology. This is the wave of the future, and we have a way to put these right on Hackney Wick, right in places like Poplar Station, right on TfL land. This is a solution sitting right in front of our eyes. It's incredible technology, and I'm ready to build more homes in 5 months than the mayor has built in 5 years. I'm going to quadruple his output in 5 months compared to what he did in 5 years. Why am I going to do it? Because I want to prove a point. I want to show everybody watching in London that your two-party system has been lying to you for the past 10 or 20 years. They've told you they're working really hard to build homes. Well, then how did this businessman come in 5 months and build 50,000 homes and trump everything you probably build in 10 years? How can he do that? Because it's new ideas, a fresh perspective, technology, and partnership with people that really want to make a difference, and we've eliminated politics. I'm telling you, I am here to shake up the system. Your vote on May 6th is going to allow me to do this. I've got incredible housing solutions. I've put them out there. I'm working with top-level people that want to make this a reality, and I'm super proud to drop this on all of London come May 7th when we're elected in. So again, your choice makes a difference on May 6th. And again, more housing, more affordable housing eases the cost of rent for everyone in this city, and we're really excited to do it. All right, last chance for questions. Here we go here. I want to ask them for you. First of all, tell me, what borough do you live in? What city do you live in? What's your biggest challenge? What do you want to ask me when I visit? Second, are you excited for the London Real Party, and who are you going to vote for on May 6th? Tell me, type it in there. Third, do you think the poll's correct, or are they a throwback? Are they an anachronism to the two-party system, the two-party stranglehold that is boxing out independent voices and the little guy like me? Are the polls right, or are the polls wrong? That's the question. You know, look at it in the digital space. Look at what's happening on the streets. Do you believe the polls, or are they completely wrong? Next, do you agree with my policies to rethink LTNs, make TfL profitable, and abolish the congestion charge until 2022, and why? And finally, do you think it's time for new leadership, new vision, and new ideas to take London in a new direction? Again, this is the last chance you get. Give me a comment here. Share this video on all your social feeds. If you're on Instagram, give me some hearts and give me some love. I got a question here from our website from Julie in Greenwich, and she says, quote, "Hello, I would like to know if you can change or reverse the driving into central London free for evenings after 6 p.m. and weekends, please. How it was before it got changed by the current mayor. It was good when we can drive into London in the evenings and weekends, especially Sundays, and can park. Also, as Londoners, would go into central areas for shopping and eating out. I know a lot of Londoners would love to see this changed also, unquote. Julie in Greenwich, I really appreciate that. And let's remind ourselves, the current mayor of London extended and expanded your congestion charge during the greatest recession in 300 years. That's what he did. That's what Julie's talking about. There never used to be a congestion charge after 7 p.m. at night. There never used to be a congestion charge on the weekends. It never used to be. I think 15 pounds is what it is after he jacked it up from 11 pounds 50. Why did he do this? It's crushing our economy. It's the worst possible thing to do when we're trying to get out of a recession. And that's why, Julie, yes, I promised to abolish the congestion charge until 2022 because I understand business. I actually took economics at MIT, one of the greatest schools in the world, from I think it was a Nobel Prize-winning professor. But it doesn't take a Nobel Prize winner to understand you can't tax business when it's trying to rebuild. So, Julie, I appreciate that. We got to kickstart London's economy. The Great Celebration is going to help, and abolishing the congestion charge is going to do that as well. So I promise to do that for you, Julie. A couple final questions here on Instagram and Facebook, and I appreciate everybody coming in here. I got London Ollie on Instagram says, I support you, Mayor Brian. You're the best candidate. Thank you so much. I got Global Faction on Instagram says, your marketing team deserves a raise. I'm seeing your face everywhere. That's great to hear. And again, I apologize to everybody that's just tired of seeing my face. I know I'm out there a lot. Trust me, it's important because we've got great policies. So that's why I'm out there in so many ways, because we believe in what we're doing. I take this so seriously and so passionately. This is personal for me. And so, yeah, we have our face out there in our marketing, and thank you. I appreciate you consuming that out there. We got Andrew Key on Instagram says, I was skeptical about you at first, but now I'm confident you are winning. Good luck, Brian. Thank you, Andrew. And you should be skeptical of every candidate and of new ideas. But I'm telling you, go deep here. I have the best policies. I have the best commitment. I know London. I've got a great track record in business. I'm out there on the streets talking to people. I'm putting in the hours. I'm doing this 24/7. So, you know I'm committed and I can handle this job, unlike some of the candidates. We got Lula on Instagram says, why are you running for mayor? Because I love this city. And I can't sit by and watch this current crop of politicians run London into the ground. I've got children. My boys are 3 and 4 years old. What are they going to say when they're in their 20s? And they're going to look around and say, what happened to the city, Dad? What did you do about it? Well, I'm going to tell them I ran for mayor and I was able to be part of this solution. So that's why I'm running. I think I can make a difference. I feel like this is my duty. I'm going to put my business on hold and everything else on hold to make this happen right now. A couple more questions. We got Harvey saying, come on, Brian, bring it to London. I am doing that. We got Bradley Vandermerv on Facebook that says, hi, Brian. Just want to say you have my vote on the 6th. I would like you to know what are you going to do regarding residential parking and some of the high prices we pay for it. You know, what I want to do is I want to rethink parking. I want to find out, especially in super central London, how do we find a way to not park cars on the street, to open that up to more fluid transport, so public transport and taxis can move around. And I want to give people other options than parking on the street. Again, I see a future of London where it's more pedestrianized, where it's a place where there's lower pollution, where it's greener, and where we can move around faster. I got some great ideas I'll be dropping off on my manifesto, which is coming out in the next few days. Last couple questions. Jonathan Chisholm on Facebook says, Brian, I hope you win. You will save London, a visionary. What will you do to end lockdown once and for all? Where will you be running on Saturday? On Saturday, I usually run at Hampstead Heath, so I'll see you out there. Again, I want to rebuild London's economy proactively. The Great Celebration in August, 20 million people into London. We're going to safely celebrate the end of this lockdown. We're going to move forward and show the world we are the best. We innovate, we bounce back. That British indomitable spirit, we're going to show it off to the world. We're great at doing live events. We crushed the Olympics. The Great Celebration of 2021 is going to go down in history as rebuilding London's economy in one fell swoop. Let me do this. All you have to do is vote yes on May 6th, and I will do that for you. Last question, Robert Cuthbert on Facebook says, you dress better. Khan looks like Mr. Bean and runs London like him as well. Okay, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. You give me a little bit of comic relief today. Look, I won't comment on whether Sadiq Khan dresses like Mr. Bean or runs London like him as well, but you're not far off is what I would say, Robert. And look, my job is to represent London in all of its greatness. So if I got to be everywhere, if I have to be the front man, if I have to be the face of London, and it brings us more business, more opportunities, more of the future for our children, then I'm willing to do that. And so, Look, I want to say I really appreciate everybody else. If you haven't yet, go get a copy of the Times, go to the website, read the article, leave a comment on the article, share it with people, take screenshots, tell your friends, get a copy of the London Real Courier, go to our website, brianformayor.london. Share this video with someone right now. Leave me a comment right now. Leave me a comment if you're watching this afterwards. It really helps if you like this video and tell everyone about it. On May 6th, we need you to vote, even if you've never voted before. If you go to votefirst.london right now, you can register to vote. If you go to brianformayor.london right now, you can get your postal vote. We'll send it to you. Tell your friends and family to get out there and vote on May 6th for Brian Rose. The London Real Party is here. We are super excited about it. We are fielding 4 people in the elections for the Assembly here in London. We are investing in the future of politics here at a local level. We are serious about everything we do, and we are clearly the best candidate. We've got the best policies. Our manifesto's coming out soon. I really appreciate everyone here. Again, take pictures of the bus. Come and see me. Come and leave me comments, but tell your friends, help volunteer. We've got to win this together. It's really hard to break this two-party duopoly. They have a stranglehold on the media, on the mind share, on everything, on the polling information, which is incorrect. We have to break it, and it means we need a lot of activity. We need a lot of noise around us. So help me make some noise is what my last ask is. Let's do this on May 6th. Let's take London in a new direction. I am excited. We will not stop until May 6th. Join us for this incredible win. Join us on May 6th. Let's make British political history. Let's vote. London Real Party, Brian for Mayor. We are really excited. And I will see you next time on Battle Bus Live. Thank you so much. Take care.
My name is Brian Rose, and I plan to be your next mayor of London. I want to lead this incredible city in a new direction by rebuilding our broken economy, reducing the frightening levels of crime, building affordable housing, and fixing our broken transportation system. I love London. I love the people, the history, the spirit, the culture, the diversity. It embodies everything I hold dear in my heart. I believe it truly is the greatest city in the world. I have lived here for over 20 years. I became a British citizen in 2007. My 2 young boys were born here, and I plan on being buried in this great city. For the past 10 years, I've been the founder and host of London Real, my broadcasting and education platform with over 5 million subscribers and 500 million views. I have now decided to stand for Mayor of London because of one fundamental reason. I can no longer sit idly by and watch our current crop of politicians drive this incredible city into the ground. The current mayor has decimated our economy and failed to deliver on crime, housing, and transport. Now is the time for an independent voice and fresh ideas to lead London in a new direction. First, I will kickstart London's economy using my 30 years of industry experience to empower businesses to rebuild rapidly and safely. My proposed business rates and congestion charge holiday until the end of 2021 will maximize footfall in the city and help our economy rebound. Second, I will lower crime by investing in more police, better trained police, and the digitization of the police. This, combined with £100 million in corporate funding for 250 community centres across London, will give our young people the opportunities and support they need. Third, I will build 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas 2021, utilizing land owned by TfL and modular building technology to quickly and efficiently deliver world-class affordable homes. Fourth, I will fix our bankrupt transportation system by properly developing TfL's vast land holdings and introduce an infrastructure levy to capture the billions of pounds of value created by the network. I would then rethink, remove, and reduce low-traffic neighborhoods and congestion charges. These issues are crucial to all Londoners, and every borough faces its unique challenges. Which is why I have traveled over 3,000 miles touring every single one of the 32 boroughs of London on my digital battle bus, while video live streaming my ideas directly to our citizens and listening to your detailed feedback. I have been overwhelmed by the incredible amount of support from real Londoners who love their city and simply want a better future for their friends, families, and communities. On my tour, I have learned 3 things. Londoners want change. Londoners want new ideas. Londoners want real leadership. Our great city now faces a critical fork in the road. On May 6th, your vote will decide what happens next in this most crucial time of our century. You can choose to have 3 more years of the same excuses, or you can choose to take London in a new direction with fresh ideas and an independent voice. We have the most incredible city in the world, and I promise to work tirelessly to make London a world-class city once again. I am confident that together we will accomplish our mission. On May 6th, vote for Brian Rose. A vote for change and a vote for the future.